They say you can feel betrayal in your bones long before your eyes ever catch it. With Hannah, the woman I married 8 years ago, that ache began as a whisper, just a soft, uneasy hum beneath the surface. It was subtle at first. Less eye contact, excuses that didn't quite add up, a phone that suddenly never left her hand. I didn't want to believe it. Not her, not us. But denial is a fragile shield. It only holds for so long before the weight of truth rips it apart. Hannah and I had built what I thought was a good life, a warm, inviting home. Dinners shared more nights than not, and dreams of starting a family. A quiet, steady love. But somewhere along the way, something shifted. She began working late more often, attending networking events I was never invited to. And when she came home, her eyes skirted mine. Her touch lost its warmth. I began to feel invisible in my own marriage, a shadow standing beside a woman who no longer saw me. Then one evening, I noticed something. A calendar reminder popped up on our shared cloud. The title read Dinner Ryash D. It was vague, oddly typed, but the location was a high-end restaurant across town. That same night, Hannah told me she was out for drinks with co-workers. A small twist of instinct clenched in my gut. I wanted to give her the benefit of the doubt. I wanted to be wrong. But that ache in my chest told me I wasn't. So I did something I never imagined I'd do. I followed her. I parked a few blocks away and waited in the shadows across the street. She arrived wearing a dress I'd never seen before. Elegant, intentional. I watched as she walked into the restaurant, a little too quickly, a little too eagerly. And then he appeared, David Sinclair, her married co-worker. He greeted her like a man who wasn't meeting a colleague. He leaned in, kissed her cheek, and her smile, God, that smile told me everything I needed to know. In that instant, my world cracked, but I didn't confront her. That night, I wasn't ready to hear her lie. Not yet. Instead, I chose silence. I needed time. I needed proof. So I hired a private investigator. Within days, I had everything, photos of them together, hotel receipts, recordings of late night, phone calls. Her voice on those calls was soft, intimate, the same tone she used to save for me. It wasn't mine anymore. It belonged to someone else. David was married to. His wife, Natalie, was someone I'd met once at one of Hannah's company events. She was quiet, poised, and kind. I couldn't stop thinking about her, how she, too, deserved the truth. I found her contact information and sent everything, dates, images, transcripts delivered discreetly. I didn't expect a response, but she wrote back, calm, measured, not a trace of hysteria, just 5 words, let's expose them together. Natalie wasn't after chaos. She wanted justice, and her approach, quiet, deliberate, brutal in its precision. Over the next few weeks, we plotted not out of bitterness, but out of necessity. These two people had looked us in the eyes, lied with ease, and continued on as if they were untouchable. Natalie moved fast. She froze their joint accounts, installed spyware on their shared devices, quietly packed up her things while he remained blissfully unaware. And I stayed silent. At home, I kissed Hannah's cheek when she walked in the door, asked about her day, played the part of the trusting husband. I watched her smile down at her phone during dinner, thinking she was clever, thinking she'd won. That made it all the more satisfying. Then came the perfect opportunity, a company gala, a night full of speeches, awards, and the illusion of success. Hannah asked if I wanted to go with her. I smiled and said yes. I'd love to meet your team, I told her. She didn't even blink. That night, I wore my sharpest suit. Natalie arrived before us, radiant and composed, her arm draped around David's as though nothing were amiss. The evening passed with handshakes and champagne flutes, laughter layered with lies. I watched from across the room as Hannah and David exchanged glances, smirks too fleeting for the untrained eye. They thought they were safe. And then, Natalie gave me the signal. She pulled out her phone, tapped the screen, and the room's main projector flickered to life. The sound system hummed, then filled the space with David's voice. She's clueless. He has no idea. Honestly, it's thrilling. The room went still. Then Hannah's voice followed. It's not about love. It's about control. He makes me feel powerful. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Wine glasses paused in midair. Conversations died mid-sentence. David turned ghost pale. Hannah's wine glass slipped from her fingers, shattering across the polished floor. I stepped forward, calm and clear. "For anyone wondering," I said, my voice cutting through the silence. "That's my wife." I turned to David. "And that's his." Then I walked out. Never looked back. Natalie followed soon after, her chin lifted like a blade. That night, they both lost everything, not because we screamed, but because we handed them their own truth and let it echo. I moved out the next morning. My lawyer served the divorce papers within the week. Hannah tried everything. She called, texted, sent long apologies, claiming it wasn't what it sounded like. When we met once to finalize everything, she cried. But I had nothing left to give her. She made her choice. I made mine. She chose the thrill. I chose my peace. David was fired. His affair breached company policy. Natalie filed for divorce too, and I still talk sometimes. Nothing romantic, just a quiet camaraderie born of shared wounds. It's strange how betrayal can tether to strangers into understanding that we don't dwell. We talk about healing, about what it means to start over, about learning how to trust again. Slowly, cautiously. Revenge doesn't always need to burn. Sometimes it's simply patience, holding the truth close until the perfect moment comes to place it on display. I didn't destroy them. I just held up a mirror. They did the rest, and in the quiet that followed, I finally found what they never had: freedom, clarity, and a peace so deep it couldn't be faked.